All right, episode 4. We're back, Check the Number Sports Podcast. I'm Dan with my co-host Matt and Zach. First time we're all back at school. Capio's debuting the mullet. How are we doing today?
Yes, sir. Yo, you see this? Fresh fade, you know what I'm saying? Couldn't really see it. I got it last week, but I'm doing great. How we doing?
I'm doing great. Repping the Toney jersey, in lieu of the new album that just dropped. Everyone go stream it.
Yep, Kadarius
Toney, best rapper on the planet right now. Go.
I'm not gonna lie. I didn't look at it. So
I didn't either.
Not. But he has more albums than touchdowns, so good for him.
Yeah.
NFL career, but
good for him.
Yeah.
Hey, Dable's gonna change that.
Start.
Oh yeah, we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Scouts were concerned about him being more into his rap career when he came into the league, but he looked all right. But all right, dude, we can get started here with some conference championship recap. 2 3-point games this week. Really exciting. I mean, second week in a row that we had a really, really good football. So
great games.
What do you guys think about those games?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I think 21-3 should be a new meme. If we're gonna give the Falcons 28-3, if we're giving them crap still, we should start giving Mahomes 21-3. But it was a great game. Though I think the real X factor, it wasn't Joe Burrow. I mean, you could say
Eli
it was
Apple.
a defense, not Eli Apple. But I think it was T. Higgins. Higgins
that's
had
what I
a
was
great
gonna
game. He had some really key catches late in the game when Burrow had overthrew him a couple times, but he still came down with them. I mean, great. It was a great game for him and Burrow, honestly. And one more thing. This is why the overtime rules are fine. Just get a stop. It makes the offense's job so much easier. Just get a field goal. That's all they need to do. You see? And the Bengals did it. Great job for them.
The one thing I'll say, I was going to go off your T. Higgins thing. I had it last week. I said he's the glue for the offense, and he showed that this week. Definitely.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for me, there were 2 big things that stood out to me. One of them was just Mahomes got too comfortable. He tried to do way too much towards the end, the backyard football, the scrambling 20 yards behind and getting sacked or just getting back to the line of scrimmage. It was too much. They should have, the play at the end of the first half should have just kicked a field goal. They would have won the game if they kicked a field goal at the end of the first half. Should have just
all the momentum changed right there.
Should have tried to score a touchdown in the second half. And they got too cute, and it came back to bite them. And then another thing is that Cincinnati's defense is just so opportunistic. It's
they're
crazy.
very clutch. They're very clutch.
I don't know about that.
But they're
a good defense, though.
Going back to the Titans game and this game, every turnover they've gotten, they've capitalized on. They got the turnover, BJ Hill's turnover that got them back into the game. Then they obviously got the turnover in overtime. And against Tennessee, even the week before, they got 3 picks off Tannehill, all to set up scoring plays that eventually won them the game. So I think I know this is going a little ahead, but if they're able to cause some trouble for Matt Stafford, they might have a shot.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, not only is Joe Burrow that guy, but Evan McPherson is that guy. He steps up in big situations. I said it before he went out on the field for that last field goal. He had already told the team that they were going to the Super Bowl. I mean, he knew it. And a couple other things. I mean, they finally got a little bit of a run game going with Joe Mixon. They tried to mix it up there. Burrow was only sacked 1 time I think Mahomes got sacked 4 times. So that was big for them. And then Mahomes choked. I mean, really bad play to end the first half to change all the momentum. And then in the second half, like you said, he tried to do way too much. He had a lot of throws that he could have put in a better spot to let them win that game. And that interception by the defensive, when the defensive lineman picked it off. And then, I mean, not a bad interception over time, but it into double coverage. It could have been a different throw. So he kind of choked in that game.
Yeah, I don't really understand why they deviated so much from the running game. When you're up 21-3, just run the ball.
They got too cute. They tried to do too much.
The Bengals weren't stacked. The Bengals were dropping 8. They weren't stacking the box. Just run the ball. I mean, I get Mahomes is your quarterback, but sometimes you got to go away from your identity and do what it takes to win the game.
No, yeah. I mean, credits to the Bengals defense for making those adjustments, though. I mean, Mahomes he had a lot of time in the pocket, running and just running around like the backyard football, but like they did that on purpose. I mean, they just put everybody in the coverage, put a spy, and it really worked in the second half. Almost shutting them out in the second half. So credits to the Bengals defense.
Yeah, I mean, the Bengals are moving on to the Super Bowl, and they're facing the winner of this Rams and 49ers game that we saw on Sunday, with the Rams coming out on top. The one thing I'll say is the 49ers should have won the game, because I think Jaquiski Tartt, if he doesn't drop the interception, they win that game. But I will say, if you have any doubts about Cooper Kupp and Deebo Samuel, just don't say anymore, because they are those guys. Deebo Samuel and Cooper Kupp are those guys.
I saw a TikTok ranking the top receivers. Cooper Kupp wasn't in their top 10. And I'm just
it's just ridiculous.
What are you doing?
I don't consider those people football. Like they don't have any football knowledge.
They want to have
they don't know.
different opinions, but
it's for clicks.
Cooper Kupp, he just produces at an unreal level.
If he wins the Super Bowl this year, I think it might be the greatest wide receiver season of all time.
If you take everything into account, it honestly could be.
Regular season, playoffs, eventual Super Bowl champion. I don't think you can dispute that this might be the best season of all time.
Triple crown, carried his team throughout the playoffs. I mean, he's done a lot.
And just
the other thing I'll say,
also,
I
mean, and he had maybe like 1 or 2 games under like 70 yards this entire season. It's crazy. It's amazing.
Yeah, and San Francisco's offense was not good at all. I mean, I know they scored 17 points. They were in that game, but George Kittle had 2 catches. They had 50 yards on 20 carries, and that was probably Jimmy G's. Although a great career in San Francisco, that was probably his last game playing for the 49ers.
No, yeah, we saw him and the head coach or the GM, something like that, hugging after that game. Yeah, he's definitely had a good career with the Niners, but he's gone.
Yeah,
he has to be.
Undoubtedly, he's had you can't say he's had a bad career because he brought the team to the Super Bowl. And the NFC
he's been great.
He's a winner, but sometimes they're winning in spite of him. Sometimes they're winning because of him. And I don't think you can sustain that. And going back to what you said, Dan, like the last time Deebo Samuel touched the ball in that game was around like 12 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Like that's unacceptable.
What are they doing there?
You can't do that. And I don't think the Niners will. I think Trey Lance will, with this season. I mean, he barely played in college. I think this season of rest will do him good. In his first full season, I don't think they'll fall much. I think they'll still be a playoff competitor. And one last thing I want to say on this game is Aaron Donald.
Yep.
He's him. Himothy.
He's that guy.
He's
also that guy.
I think
a lot of that guys showed out this weekend. A lot of those guys.
They are those guys.
Definitely.
Some guys are just those guys.
Some guys are those guys.
The one thing I'll say about Jimmy G is I think he's going to be a starter somewhere next year.
I agree.
I think someone signs him. I could see him going a bunch of different places and being not even a replacement quarterback, but like on a roster that's built to win. It's the same thing he did in San Francisco. He took a roster that's built to win and he won.
There are teams.
I think he can do the same place and somewhere else.
There are a lot of teams that are built to win and don't have the assets to trade for one of the big name guys. Namely like the Steelers, potentially, maybe the Dolphins. I mean, the Dolphins have a lot. The Broncos, maybe even Carolina or the Giants, who could use a
Saints,
Jimmy G.
Possibly.
Jimmy G is the type of guy. He has a ceiling, but he showed it with the Niners. He'll get you to the playoffs, but then from there, it's to be seen what more he could do.
Maybe another thing, we're not sure if Tom Brady is going to retire, but Tampa Bay could also be a place where Jimmy G could go.
I was going to say that. Yeah.
If he retires, they're the number 1 quarterback destination.
Yeah, and they're going to get someone good because they have a good roster and they want to win now, whether it's Rodgers or Garoppolo. But we'll see what happens with Tom Brady.
Yeah, even if they get Garoppolo on that Bucs roster, that's still a very, very good team. I mean,
it's basically what the 49ers are.
He has great weapons around him. It's a great offensive line too. I think that's a very good situation, albeit I think that's like the least realistic one, but still, it's It's possible.
But if a team needs a quarterback on a cheaper deal, that's a guy you can go and get.
I still think that Tampa team is probably still the best team in their division, even without Brady.
I think
like
they would be.
They have the best like the Falcons are up and down. The Panthers stink and they didn't fire Rule. And the Saints, like, who knows after Peyton retired and their quarterback situation. Like, Tampa's still built to win, even if Brady retires.
Yeah. Exactly.
And Matt Ryan's also a guy that a team should look to trade for, because
I was going to mention
he's still good and he's cheap, or not. I mean, kind of cheap, and they probably wouldn't have to give up much to get him.
No, yeah, exactly.
But we can look ahead to the Super Bowl now. Bengals Rams. That was, I honestly thought this is going to be a really good matchup. In all honesty, definitely. I think the one thing I'll say is Joe Burrow might literally get killed by Aaron Donald.
He might get another torn ACL.
Like, he might die. If we're being, I'm scared for Joe Burrow this week a little bit.
I'm praying for the Bengals offensive line to go against that Rams front.
I mean, they're going to have to.
It could be very scary.
They can't. They can't triple team Donald.
I know, but I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't know how
Von Miller and Leonard Floyd.
Leonard Floyd, honestly. Yeah.
I mean, that's the one thing. Like, it was really hard to choose a winner for this game, but Aaron Donald is just such an X factor.
And even with Aaron Donald and Von Miller, they still have the best cornerback in the league locking up Jamar Chase.
We're going to see a lot of T. Higgins in this game, like we've been saying.
Yep.
Yes.
A lot of T. Higgins.
Are we doing predictions?
Yeah, we can do our predictions.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll start.
Well, actually, the last thing I'll say is the Rams don't make the Super Bowl without Odell Beckham.
Get into that.
They don't make the Super Bowl without Odell Beckham.
It's great to see Odell being just at an elite level again, honestly.
Because I think we saw that Robert Woods was the glue to that offense, similar to how T. Higgins is the glue to that offense. And then we thought, Odell, he's just getting acclimated, which was when we saw them struggling. Then once he got acclimated to the offense, we saw he's producing at a really high level again.
Yeah.
No, yeah. He's not washed.
Odell was never the problem. He's always been elite. He's never not been elite. He's always been that guy.
Just get him a comparable quarterback.
Like, you saw what he did when Eli Manning was still decent.
Exactly.
He made the playoffs. He was like the best rookie receiving season at the time. I mean, you saw what happened.
I mean, in his prime, he was like a top 15.
And that prime was even with like an aging Eli Manning. Like, Eli Manning wasn't in his prime when Odell Beckham was having those great seasons.
Yeah, not at all.
And I guess I'll start with the predictions. I do think the Rams will win. I think Cincinnati's defense has been getting like unreasonably lucky with all these. You saw against the Titans, that last pick was a tipped pass. The pick in overtime was a tipped pass. I feel like they're getting really lucky with the amount of picks. They are producing turnovers, which is good, but I don't know if that's sustainable, especially against like a Rams offense that has Cooper Kupp and that has Odell Beckham. And
they haven't been turning the ball over lately.
They haven't been, exactly. And I just think, obviously, this might be more of a biased thing, but the Rams have the entire Lions fan base rooting for them. They have the entire Giants fan base rooting for them, and the entire state of California. I mean, that's a lot.
Matt Stafford is playing in the Super Bowl, and Eminem is performing. It's the closest Detroit has gotten to the Super Bowl in a while. So,
yeah.
And Von Miller's in the Super Bowl. They got the Broncos fans too.
It's just the storylines of like Donald winning one, Stafford getting one, Ramsey finally getting one, Odell, Cooper Kupp. I mean, the Bengals, everything has gotten their way this year in order for them to get to this point. The Rams, this game means so, like, they've pushed all the chips into the table. This is their shot. If they don't win, I don't think they'll get back. And the Bengals,
it's honestly the shot for both of these teams. Because in my opinion, if the Rams win the Super Bowl, their GM and all their transactions look like a huge success. Paid off. And if they don't, then it's a big failure.
Yep.
Complete bust.
Same
thing. They have like no picks. They have no more picks.
Winning a Super Bowl just refutes all of the negative backlash they've gotten from trading those picks and signing all those players.
Yeah, and then it shows that you can do that and win if you put everything into a team. So what do you have for the score prediction for this game, Zach?
I guess I'll go Rams 30, Bengals 23. That's my official stamp prediction.
Okay. What about you, Dan?
I'm going Rams 31-28.
31-28. High scoring game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a shootout.
I could definitely see that, but I went more on a little bit more on the conservative side. I said Rams win 24-20. I mean, yeah, I think the Rams front line is just gonna feast. They're gonna absolutely feast. Whatever the over under on Rams sacks, yo, everybody slam the over on that. Everyone.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the Bengals, they're going to have to play the perfect game. They can't go down early like they did against the Bengals. They can't not be able to run the ball like against the Titans or against the Chiefs. They can't not be able to run the ball against the Titans. They can't, give up 34 points like they did against the Jets earlier this year or whatever it was. I mean, they've got to create turnovers, move the ball on offense, don't turn the ball over, and just protect Joe Burrow.
And that's going to be very difficult considering how good not just the front line is, which it's probably going to contain Joe Mixon, but also their pass defense. I mean, obviously with Ramsey, obviously Ramsey probably going to lock up Jamar Chase. And honestly, hey, credit to Eric Weddle having a pretty good game too.
Led their team in tackles in the NFC Championship game.
I mean, I don't really see a realistic shot for the Bengals to win this game. They have to play perfect, in my opinion.
I mean, I would have picked the Bengals, but Aaron Donald is just too good, and he's going to halt their offense. We're going to see Joe Burrow scrambling a lot, I feel like.
I also I kind of said before, there's so much riding on the Rams winning that I think there's no way that they're going to accept to lose. Like, they're going to do absolutely everything in their power to win this game, because this might be the most important Super Bowl, like, for one specific team in a long time.
A lot of the guys on that team. And the Bengals, they didn't expect to be here.
Exactly.
They're riding high. They know that they've got a future. The Rams, they
don't know what the future tells. This might be like, this is the most important, obviously, like this changes if they win a ring, this changes the scope of a lot of players' careers. Like, obviously Donald,
a lot of players,
Donald, Ramsey, still Hall of Famers regardless, but Stafford's, you can make a debate. Beckham, you can make a debate. This there's Cup, so much. Cup,
Von Miller.
There's so much riding on this game for the Rams.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, and Sean McVay still remembers 2 years ago when they scored 3 points in the Super Bowl, which goes back to your point about the Capio, about the defensive score in the game. I agree. Like, a lot of times in the Super Bowl, we see high-powered offense have nerves and they come out flat, and the defenses are playing with a lot of energy and they slow down the offenses. So I think it can go either way, but I think it's going to be a really entertaining game either way.
Oh, yeah, definitely. This is going to be a great matchup.
Yeah. And so that's in 2 weeks. And next weekend we have the Pro Bowl. And in my opinion, the Pro Bowl is the worst all-star game in sports.
Nobody cares.
It doesn't matter.
Not even the players care.
I don't even watch it that closely, honestly. You got the offense going 75%. You got the defense going less than that. It's like, it's not a real football game. It's just, I don't know. And they also have to stop having the voting in the middle of the season.
No. Oh my God. Yeah. That is ridiculous. I mean, oh my God.
There's too many guys.
The Pro Bowl is a joke.
Yeah.
Jesus. And they don't even have it in Hawaii anymore. So I mean, for the players, like, who wants to? They used to have a free trip to Hawaii, but now they can't.
I like the idea of it, like getting all the players together for the fans.
I mean, you got to have it.
You got to have it. But it's become more of a PR thing than a real football thing. It's becoming a way to sell the game and like create a brand. But I feel like the football aspect is kind of slowly going away because of how many players are just deciding not to go.
Yeah. I mean, you can't really blame them either.
No,
not at all. I mean, when you have someone like Josh Allen, who definitely deserved to be in it, and he's on my list of snubs that we'll get into in a second, for him to lose a heartbreaker in the AFC Championship and then would rather not play another football game against all-star players should be a little bit of a wake-up call.
Mm-hmm, definitely. I mean, who even watches the Pro Bowl anymore? I don't.
I watch the Pro Bowl when there's absolutely nothing left to watch.
I watch the skills challenges. Those are more exciting than the actual game.
The dodgeball game is.
Yeah, the dodgeball games are more exciting. But we can get into our snubs here. I've got a few, but who are some guys that stood out to you that should have been in the Pro Bowl? start with you, Zach, or either one.
I'll go quick. I have a few. I mean, Eckler should have been in, plain and simple.
Yeah,
he
I agree.
should have replaced Joe Mixon. And don't get me wrong, Najee Harris has had a great season, but I feel
Austin
like
Eckler
Eckler deserved it more. And then also Cordero Patterson in the NFC. I mean, like, he produced at such a high level when nobody expected him.
Nobody expected him.
You're gonna tell me you expected Cordero Patterson to have as good of a season as he did.
No, obviously not. But like, are we really gonna? I don't think he's deserved a Pro Bowl nod.
Why not?
I mean,
why not?
I think Leonard Fournette.
I think Leonard Fournette deserved it way over Cordero Patterson. Like,
they both had a better case than James Conner.
Oh my God! Don't even get me started. Okay, we'll keep. Zach, keep going, but I'll get to that.
I just have one more quick thing to say. I it's not really a snub, but it's just a props to the NFL for actually making the right choice, and Deontay Johnson replacing Jamar Chase, which I was scared that they weren't going to give him his respect, and I'm glad they did.
He was on my fantasy team. Glad to see that one. Okay, so I guess I'll go now. Josh Allen was one of my snubs. That's just unacceptable.
Yeah.
Same, honestly, even Joe Burrow. How is he not a Pro Bowler over Lamar Jackson?
Both of them should have been over him. And that goes back to the voting in the middle of the season, because Lamar Jackson in the middle of the season looked like a Pro Bowler.
No, yeah, he did.
When the season ended and he missed like the last 6 games, he's not a Pro Bowler.
And just as a passer, he just regressed heavily. Like, yeah. And even rushing, like he still had one of the best rushing seasons for a quarterback. But even then, even his rushing totals were regressing a little bit. So I don't really understand why Lamar was a Pro Bowler. I'm glad to see Joe Mixon get a Pro Bowl nod. He did look like a Pro Bowler this entire season. Also on my fantasy team. So glad to see that. I had Eckler as my snub. I mean, hey, Najee, he had like a good season, but Eckler definitely deserved it over him. I mean, he was just way more efficient with his touches also. And Eckler's a better pass catcher than him. I mean, I get why Najee was picked, but it really should have been Eckler. And then, oh my God, James Conner, that was ridiculous. Okay, just because somebody gets 15 touchdowns in a game doesn't mean you deserve a Pro Bowl. Okay, like all of his carries were like at the 1, and he wasn't even efficient with his
carries and be a Pro Bowler. Like, it just shows that you're not ridiculous. Like good enough.
He's not like talented enough to take over and be the number 1 running back. Like he's just a goal line back or a between the tackles type of guys. I really don't understand that one. And then I guess Gronk is like sort of a snub. I mean, I don't really have a problem with it, but I could have seen Gronk getting a Pro Bowl. But overall, it wasn't like a terrible job.
Yeah, I mean, I had Eckler, I had Fournette, I had Josh Allen, and then I had a couple of defensive guys. Jeffrey Simmons should have been a Pro Bowler.
He's elite.
Because I think he was on the first team All Pro.
Draft him.
How are you
on the first team All Pro and you're not a Pro Bowler?
That
doesn't make any sense. And then
I had the same thing with like Darius Leonard his rookie season.
Yeah, I mean, it makes no sense. And I had 2 other guys. I had Patrick Surtain, possibly over Denzel Ward. That was kind of a toss-up. And then this might be a hot take, but AJ Terrell should have made it over Trayvon Diggs.
I agree, 100%.
Oh, no,
100%.
I think
100%.
That,
we all know how I feel about
Diggs,
Trayvon Diggs.
At this point, he's good, but is he good enough to be a Pro Bowler? I don't think so.
The 11 interceptions, I think that's very unsustainable. And we all know how bad he is in coverage too.
Yeah.
So
AJ Terrell was a lockdown corner this year.
Yeah, exactly. He just didn't put up the interception totals. But I mean, I guess that matters to the other guys.
Yes, getting turnovers is good, but I think AJ Terrell should have made it over Trayvon Diggs.
And one more
think so too.
One more Pro Bowl thing. when you're talking about Mac Jones, make sure to add Pro Bowl Mac Jones in front of his name.
That's also ridiculous.
I don't know how far down the list they
That's
had to
also
go,
ridiculous.
but Mac Jones is a Pro Bowler.
That was awful.
Really? Mac Jones?
You didn't know that?
No, I know this, but like,
the thing is, he's the injury replacement to the injury replacement to the replacement. Like it's ridiculous
come on. At that point,
he can't be mentioned as a Pro Bowler.
Don't have.
Come on, they should just play with two quarterbacks.
Don't name another replacement at that point.
Yeah, just have Lamar Jackson come out on the field for 2 plays and have Herbert and Mahomes put on a show. Because Mac Jones is not going to be fun to watch.
He's good, but he's nothing special. He's going to be throwing
checkdowns to the best receivers in the
NFL. Which, there's nothing wrong with throwing checkdowns. Like, all good quarterbacks, they have different play styles. But Mac Jones being a Pro Bowler, I mean, at that point, just don't name another replacement.
There's got to be someone better. There's got to be. I mean, I don't know. At this point, I guess not. I mean, well, did Derek Carr get any
I don't know, actually.
I don't think
it's a good question.
He would definitely make it over Mac Jones, in my opinion.
I
guess that's the only other guy I could think of. But I guess. But the Pro Bowl to me is kind of a joke at this point.
It's a popularity contest.
It is, but every All-Star game is at this point. But the Pro Bowl to me is just on a lower level than the rest of them.
I agree.
Yeah, if I had to rank them. Yeah. I mean, I think honestly the NBA is probably number 1. MLB, it's not a distant second.
But you still have everyone trying. Like the pitchers are still throwing.
It's kind of hard not to try in an MLB All-Star game.
And you have the home run derby. The new format of the home run derby. I actually like it a lot.
I like it.
It's very entertaining.
I happen to love the winner the past 2 seasons too.
Big Meat Pete. We love him. But anyways, and then there's the NBA All-Star game, there's the MLB All-Star game.
Then there's NHL.
Then there's the NHL. Then there's 50 feet of crap. And then there's the Little League All-Star game for
the Little League World Series. Then you got the College World Series. Then we got our high school sectional games. And then you've got the Pro Bowl.
And there's the Pro Bowl.
Perfect.
It's that bad. But talking about another All-Star game, the NBA All-Star Starters came out last week.
I have a lot to say.
Honestly, with all the injuries this year, there wasn't many options for guys that got snubbed. But there definitely was some. So we can go through it. Zach, you seem to have one. So who do you think got snubbed as a starter?
Before I say anything, the All-Star starters do not matter.
They don't at all.
It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. If you're out here fighting for Andrew Wiggins to just be an All-Star regular, you're wasting your breath.
He's still an All-Star.
Matter. Yeah. When you look back on resumes, you look back on All-Star appearances, not All-Star starter versus All-Star reserve. Everyone still plays in the game. Who cares who starts? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's all. Thank you. That's all.
Yeah. No, you can start with yours though.
Yeah. Zach, you can start with yours.
I don't know. I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it really doesn't. It really doesn't.
It really doesn't. Like, I guess if you really want me to pick, then I'd pick in the East. I'd put Levine over Trae Young. That's really the only starter that I've I guess. But I mean,
they're gonna make it anyways.
I don't care if Wiggins is a starter, because everyone else who was gonna be a starter is still gonna be an all-star.
Yeah, it
doesn't matter.
And I think going on a year report about Trae Young, I think Harden should have been a starter over Trae Young. Their stats. Trae Young averaging like 27, 9, and 4, but Harden's averaging like 25, 10, and 9. Like, I think, again, they don't matter, but Harden should have been an all-star over Trae Young, in my opinion.
No, yeah. As a Nets fan, I would love to say that. I personally would have picked Trae over Harden, but I could definitely see it. Just because Harden did have a slow start to the year, so as opposed to Trae, who we thought he was, a free throw merchant, which I really don't. I could not care less if anyone was a free throw merchant. That's
it's part of the game.
Issue. It's a part of the game. It's the most efficient shot.
They've adjusted the rules.
I couldn't care less.
Stop it.
If
they've adjusted the rules and they still averaging 27 a game. So
exactly.
It's kind of
really
ridiculous.
Doesn't matter. But yeah, I really don't have I guess if I had to pick, Luka could have been a start over Trey also.
Yeah.
That one a little bit of a reach, but
Well, Luka's in the West.
Well, we're also
so he wouldn't have been able to
plus.
I could have seen. Well, that's the other thing about the All-Star things.
It shouldn't be conferences.
Luka shouldn't. Well, not only should it not be conferences, but the position should be a little bit more flexible. Like you can't have Luka Doncic deserved to be a starter over Andrew Wiggins, but he couldn't because he's categorized as a guard.
Because he's a guard.
But he's 6'7", and he should have started over Andrew Wiggins. But besides that, Paul George was hurt, even though his stats were better. He just didn't play enough games. You could say, again, it just comes down to positions. Devin Booker probably was better than him, but he's a guard. Chris Paul, Ayton, and Gobert are centers, so they wouldn't start over him. It's just that Karl Anthony Towns is a center. So it came down to positions, I think. And which is how Wiggins made it.
There's a few more things, just quick little things I want to say with the All-Star game. One, the fan voting should count way less. Like when you have guys like Klay Thompson and Derrick Rose in the top 10 at their
Carmelo Anthony.
How did Carmelo Anthony?
I don't know. And Kyrie Irving, it doesn't make sense. And two, bring back the old jerseys where everyone wears their own jerseys. Bring it back. Not these dumb.
That was so cool.
These dumb East and West, vibrant red, ugly jerseys. Just have everyone wear their own jerseys.
No,
I'm also a big fan of the draft. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the All-Star draft.
I am too. I like that.
I think that it's Durant against LeBron again this year, which is what it is basically every year. But it's either Durant, Giannis, or LeBron, or Steph, it seems like. But also, shout out John Morant. He's playing unbelievably this year.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to him. Shout out to Nikola Jokic, who's flying under the radar. DeRozan definitely deserves to be a starter.
DeRozan, man.
Joel Embiid is on his tear.
DeRozan.
People thought he was the worst. DeRozan, they thought DeRozan was the worst signing of the offseason last year with the Bulls.
It's funny because, he's been probably their best player.
They're second in the East.
Yeah, exactly. And going back to Wiggins, when you first look at it, it does seem like Mickey Mouse as hell. But when you really look at the situation, exactly, no one. Obviously, Paul George was hurt. Ingram, first of all, he's on a bad team, but second, he was also less efficient. Yeah. Draymond Green, I would pick Wiggins.
That's the one I was going to say. He's the only guy, and yet they're still on the same team.
They're on the same team, and I'd still rather pick Wiggins.
And they're both going to be all-stars.
Exactly. It doesn't matter.
It's kind of dumb.
It infuriates me seeing all these TikToks about, Wiggins this, Wiggins that. Be quiet.
At the end of the day,
who is going to start over him?
If you're getting butthurt over the all-star starters, go outside. Touch some grass. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. I'm sorry if that offends anyone, but everyone's going to be an all-star who deserves to be an all-star.
Or stay inside and play some video games. Just don't pay attention to the all-star starters.
Play some 2K. Start anyone who you want.
You can make it up yourself. You can do the draft yourself.
It doesn't make sense.
At this point, it's kind of dumb. But I think the all-star game is going to be good this year, as it is every year, it seems like. All right, so this week in the NFL, there was a bunch of head coaching hires. Teams wanted to get an early start on their next season and the future plans. We saw the Giants, Broncos, Raiders, and Bears get their head coaches for the future. A couple more have been rumored, but nothing official. So you start with the Giants. Zach, what do you think of Brian Daboll's hiring?
I like it. I do. I don't know if I posted a TikTok about it earlier today. I definitely do like it.
Check that out.
Go check it out. Yes, CTN Sports Spot on TikTok. I think if anyone's fit for the job to turn around Daniel Jones, it's the guy who developed Josh Allen. And I'm not saying Daniel Jones will be Josh Allen, but if there's anyone who could maximize his potential, it's this guy.
He could maximize him, but I will say Daniel Jones and Josh Allen are just not the same player.
Oh, I know, but
I mean,
they're both mobile. They're both mobile quarterbacks.
They're both very mobile, but
with
I mean, Jones doesn't have
big
the
frames.
talent.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. That's why
I think it's a great hire, but they need to just get a quarterback that's going to fit Dable's system.
Exactly.
They have a.
I think he fits.
Jones
fits the system, but he's not the guy.
I also just hope that our $78 million man and first round pick can score a touchdown.
Yeah.
You'd hope,
that would be good.
But I'm not going to put, you'd think you wouldn't have to say that, but I'm not going to,
with the Giants,
with this team, I'm not going to put it past them, but you'd hope that our two best receivers would actually score.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that would be good for the offense. And
at the same time,
too.
though, it's not entirely their fault.
Oh, I know. They've had Jake Fromm and Mike
fault.
Glennon for most of the season, but you'd think that
even with Daniel Jones, they didn't score.
Yeah, you'd think they'd at least get one, like a 1 yard touchdown or something, but no, they can't get more than 5 catches any game. So
yeah,
obviously, I'm cautiously optimistic. I'll put it that way, because obviously
I think he was a really good hire.
I agree, because he was the best guy on the market at the time, and also anything is better than Joe Judge. We don't need to get into it,
and just his hire gives the Giants some optimism.
Exactly. The fact that the Maras went out of their, they did a complete 180 from everything they've done in the past. In the past, they've stayed in their circle. They've done in family, in their circle hires. This time they went out and interviewed 3 of the best people on the market, one of which happened to get hired a day or two later by the Bears. I mean, which shows that they weren't messing around. And I mean, it just goes to show that they hear the fans, and they hear that the fans are sick and tired of this, and the fans want the Giants to get back to what they were and what they're supposed to be. It's just a kind of a breath of fresh air, almost, seeing that the owners are finally getting fed up with their losing ways and will do whatever it takes to fix it.
Oh yeah, I mean, credit to them for basically cleaning house. I mean, it's a great move. Just basically all they need is just a different quarterback.
And if they don't draft 2 offensive linemen with their 5th and 7th picks,
unless Kyle Hamilton is there,
unless they sign a guy first or whatever, unless they do whatever, there's no excuse for not taking 2 offensive linemen with how bad their offensive line played. They have 1 offensive lineman who's worth starting next year right now.
The only way I see them not doing that is if Neal and Okwonu get picked before them, which I can see happening with the Jags, even the Jets.
Even then, I still think you still have to take 1.
You take at least 1, yeah. I mean, but that's their major need.
We don't have to get into the Giants because there's not much good happening.
And the next team is the Broncos, and they got the Packers offensive coordinator. And the thing is, I'll say they definitely hired him to get Aaron Rodgers. There's no other way to put it. And I think if they get Aaron Rodgers, it's a home run of a hire. And if they don't, it's a really bad one. Because, I mean, their offense, their play calling wasn't that great.
Their offense was good because of Rodgers.
Because of Rodgers and Matt LaFleur. I mean, at the end of the day,
it's not like Nathaniel Hackett was even calling most of the plays. It was Matt LaFleur.
It's not like the Niners where they're actually developing a good offensive system and are succeeding with a mediocre quarterback. This is just a top 3 quarterback in the game, the best receiver in the game, just feasting behind a good offensive line and a good run game. It's just
it's a really good hire if they get Aaron Rodgers, but I don't think they're going to be very good.
They're screwed, honestly, if they don't.
I mean, they'd have to get one of those guys, because if they draft a guy, they're not going to be great next year. If they get Jimmy G, they're not going to be great next year. I mean, they got to get Wilson or Rodgers, honestly.
I put grades, but after every hire so far, and Hackett, I have TBD, because, like you said, it all depends on what Rodgers does.
If they get Rodgers, it's an A or A plus.
It could be an A plus. It's honestly worse than a C. It could be.
I've seen some clips of him. He seems like kind of like a corny guy. You
saw the interview,
like the dad jokes type guy. He doesn't seem like he seems like he's very. I don't know.
Doesn't seem like an upgrade from Vic Fangio unless they get Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
I do like that they went in an offensive direction, though. I think that was smart. Because I think I don't know, when your team has a good defense and a bad offense, you need an offensive head coach and a good defensive coordinator. And then when your team has a bad defense and a good offense, you need a defensive head coach and a good offensive coordinator. And then you're going to be fine. Because sometimes the head coach is kind of like the poster guy for the coordinators. And I think we saw that in Dallas this year a little bit. Because the coordinators are honestly just as important as the head coach.
Defenses are so much harder to scheme and build than offenses. Like you can't just roll out there with like one star defensive player and expect to get
like a regular zone defense.
With an offense, you can roll out there with an Aaron Rodgers, and no matter who's his running backs or receivers, they're gonna
you'll be competitive.
Exactly.
Yep. And then the next one is we'll go to the Raiders. I really like this hire of Josh McDaniels. I know his head coaching experience was pretty lackluster, and but he's been under Belichick for like a bunch of years now, and he's been considered for head coaching jobs. I know he didn't get them, but with a team that is coming off the chaos of last year, I think he's a guy that's going to come in and implement a strict coaching regime there.
I mean, I will say though, obviously the Patriot head coaching tree, like all the coordinators that leave to become head coaches, a lot of them just become very unsuccessful. So I don't want to hold that against them, but like at the same time, there hasn't really been a head coach that's come from Bill Belichick and has like really succeeded.
I'd argue the most successful has been Brian Flores, and he's out of a job right now.
He's gone. Which is
I think he's going to sign with the Texans.
Oh, he'll get a job, but it's just goes to show like with a sample size this big, I mean, it's not just like random.
Yeah, at this point, I don't think it's random
failure. Like it traces. There has to be a trace back, and I guess I'm a little lower on this hire than you are because I put a TBD for this one also because I don't know. I mean, he's shown a tendency to not be completely 100% in. Like even he was there with the Broncos for 2 years, whatever, had the Colts job and then left the last second.
Yeah,
which was honestly a blessing in disguise for them. So I don't know if he'll be fully committed because everyone was saying that he was just going to replace Belichick after Belichick was gone.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he's.
I think he was kind of scared to leave Bill Belichick a little bit.
I think so. I don't know if he's just doing this as a placeholder until Belichick retires, and not to mention they're coming in with the worst roster so far in the AFC West. Like they're
easily.
If the Broncos get Rodgers, they're miles.
Even Jimmy G, they're better.
miles. They're miles behind the other three teams.
Yeah, this year was kind of a fluke, if we're being honest, for the Raiders.
One more thing I will say.
And Derek Carr,
Capio talk.
I mean, his contract is up soon, I think. So
I also don't think it went over well with the players because you saw how much they loved their interim coach and how much they wanted him to stay. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Obviously they'll support him, but I don't know how much behind the scenes they're wishing that they stuck with the guy who led them to the playoffs mid-season.
I think they could have easily messed this one up, but I don't think they did. I think it's not going to fail, but it might not be a huge success.
I think it's like to be determined.
Yeah.
Zach put it well. Because, again, the Patriot coaching tree just never seems to work out. They are coming in with probably not a very talented roster at all. It was, let's be honest, it was a bit of a Mickey Mouse playoff appearance.
Very much.
So I mean, he's not really coming in with a lot, but I mean, hey, you never know.
Yeah, and then the last one,
it's fine.
Yeah, and the last one is the Bears, and this goes back to my comment about if you're a defensive team, you need an offensive coach, and that's not what they did. And they have a young quarterback that needs to be developed.
Let me just say,
I think they failed.
Let me just say, hold on. Who is this guy? Why did they hire him? Like, a defensive-minded head coach. Why?
For a team with a rookie quarterback.
That's what you need, Justin Fields.
And already an above-average defense. Like, why? It makes no sense.
They should have got Josh McDaniels or someone like that.
If anything,
that would have been better. That would have been better.
It was so much better.
My only reason I could think of that they went defense was because I don't like because they wanted to see Fields in that system. Like, I don't know, which doesn't make any sense
But like,
anyway.
isn't it the same system he was just in? Like,
I
offensively,
don't know.
Run up the gut and then get sacked.
I also
overthrow Allen Robinson.
I also
overthrow
sorry
Darnell
offensive
Mooney.
line.
I mean, their roster
What are they
was pretty,
doing?
pretty veteran oriented. So I kind of wish they went with someone who's already had experience, like a Doug Peterson. Like anyone really with experience, I think would have been better for them because their best players are getting up there in age. You still have question marks surrounding Fields. So I don't know. And I mean, that division is wide open given the question marks surrounding Rodgers and even Kirk Cousins in Minnesota. So
yeah,
I think their better bet was to go with someone who's had a proven track record of success rather than taking a flyer on a guy who we don't know what he's going to be.
There's a lot of good coaches out there.
Not just a guy with experience, but even a guy that's it just doesn't really fit. They need somebody to develop Fields and to develop a good offensive system for him, which I really don't think he's going to be able to do.
And I get it. One last thing I'll say, and I get it. There have been defensive oriented coaches who have succeeded with great quarterbacks like McDermott in Buffalo and Staley in Los Angeles, but Allen and Herbert they're they've shown more. Like
so much more
Herbert had an insane rookie season, and Allen showed more.
He showed flashes.
He showed flashes of being great. Like Fields, yes, there were flashes, but not as many as the two guys.
Really.
I mean, he's a pretty good rusher. I mean, it's yet to be seen how good he is passing. I mean, it's obviously it's like a big question mark. So
yeah, I mean that's why
I'd honestly give it an F.
Yeah, I mean I'd probably give it like a C.
I'd probably give it a C+ or a C.
Maybe I'm being a little extreme, but
it's just the wrong type of guy.
Exactly. I don't see where the fit is. So.
And that's why for the Bears, I wanted Dable to go. I didn't want Dable to go, but I thought he was going to go there because they are similar to the Giants, where their roster is all right. They've got a few pieces, but they've got the quarterback in place, and the Giants don't. So that's why I thought that Dable would have been a great guy there, or even like a Byron Leftwich, or the Rams offensive coordinator, or anyone else. I mean, just not a defensive guy, honestly, to me. And that does it for the head coaching hires. There's a bunch of teams: the Saints, Dolphins, Texans that still need head coaches. And
can I say one last thing about the head coaches? I don't know if we were done, but this is a PSA to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Please stop messing around. Please stop interviewing Vic Fangio.
Your season's been over for a while. You've got to make a decision.
Please stop interviewing Rich Bisaccia. Please
just hire someone.
You interviewed Leftwich. Hire him, please. For the sake of the NFL. I'm not even a Jags fan. I could care less what they do.
He coached in Florida. I mean,
just stop messing around. There's a reason you're at the bottom of the NFL year in and year out.
Yeah. Management is just disgusting and terrible.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So that does it for NFL stuff. Not a lot of MLB stuff again this week, and that's because the lockout is still going on. But some positive news in the MLB this week.
Yeah. So the lockout there, it could possibly come to an end soon. I know the Players Association and the owners they're going to meet, I think tomorrow, right?
Yeah, tomorrow.
So yeah, I just want to say again, pay the players. They make you all this money. I get it, they're millionaires, but these owners are billionaires. So
you don't have the owners without the players.
Exactly. They don't have this much money without the the Mike Trouts and the Harpers and the Cunhas. All these guys that are just so fun to watch. So please just pay the players.
Yeah.
Respectfully.
And talking about players, Shohei Ohtani was announced as the cover of MLB The Show 22.
Well deserved. Rare.
I felt like I saw this like a mile from a mile.
Stephen A. Smith said that he couldn't be the face of baseball, but he obviously is. I mean, it's him and Mike Trout, and they're on the same team.
It's great.
The fact that they're on the same team the two faces of baseball are on the same team, and they still haven't made the playoffs yet.
Make the playoffs.
I genuinely think that this baseball has the opportunity to enter one of the best like golden ages possible.
Think about all the young guys you have, with Acuna and Soto and all those guys. I mean,
you have
Alonso.
So many. I don't know if he's on that level, but you have so many young players, young foreign players that are marketing the game across the globe. The best player this past season is a guy who doesn't speak good English, and nobody has an issue with that. It's great for the game.
Stephen A. does.
Stephen A. Smith has an issue with that, but
it's
he has an
great
issue with a lot of
game
things.
to have Shohei Ohtani being the ambassador for the game, showing the world that anyone can play this sport. And I really think the MLB is kind of fumbling the bag with it. Like, baseball is great. Everyone, like, I mean, not everyone loves baseball, but a lot of people, it's America's pastime. Like, baseball it's so much different than other sports. It's so special. Like, they're just like, baseball has the chance to be one of the best time periods it's ever been. And I feel
like so many marketable players.
Yeah, exactly. Out of all the major sports in America, it's probably the most global one when it comes to players. I mean, they've got players from tons of countries, and it's honestly it's dominated by Hispanic players and African American players.
Acuna, Soto, Vlad, like all non-American born players.
Even when you look at the World Baseball Classic, that tournament it's not dominated by the US.
It's electric. They might win it, but that's because like it's the US and they're going to have good baseball players. But any country could, or a lot of countries could win.
It's really any country's race, to be honest.
Yeah,
like
easily.
All of the teams are very competitive. So
yeah,
just pay the players. Free Shohei and Mike Trout. Well, okay, not really, but get them some help.
Yeah, get them help.
And Barry Bonds should be in.
They got Syndergaard.
Yep.
Oh yeah, they got Syndergaard.
Yeah, they finally have a pitcher.
What a snake! That guy really posted on Instagram like LFGM, and like 3 days later signs with the Angels. What a snake!
He'll be wishing that when we're hosting the.
Let him go on a team that's going to end up winning like 80 games next year, if the season happens, of course.
Yeah.
It
will happen. We're going to speak it into existence on here.
But if it's delayed like at all, I think that'll be just a terrible look.
It's really bad for baseball.
It's like baseball has such a good opportunity to be in such a prime, like golden era, and they're just messing it up.
They're throwing it away. But yeah, I mean, I think that's all we got today. We'll see what happens in the Super Bowl in 2 weeks. But yeah, I mean, I think just a lot of stuff in sports right now with all these seasons going on. A lot of exciting stuff. Any final thoughts from you guys?
Clutch isn't real. Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame. Overtime rules are fine.
Stream Warrior 3.
Yep, stream Kadarius Toney's new album.
I'm about to listen to that after this, actually.
Yeah, post your reaction on TikTok, Capio, Kadarius Toney's album.
I got you.
But yeah, I mean, all I gotta say is Clutch is real. The NFL overtime rules are still questionable, and the Jets might beat a team that's gonna win the Super Bowl. So, did beat a team that might win the Super Bowl. So,
Jets are Super Bowl contenders.
Future's bright in New York for the green.
Bright's the word. Yeah,
that's all we got for today. First time all three of us being at school doing this, so it means we can keep it going. We'll see you guys next week.
Yep.
See ya.